What's up, guys? It's Matt Jackson and Clay Smith, and we are the Wash Bros. Welcome to episode 20, where we'll be talking about the importance of branding and having a brand consistency. So not only are you able to grow your business, but you can keep it authentic and keep it on that right direction. Clay and I both like branding, so this is going to be an easy episode for us both to talk about, since it's a huge reason for our success. So you want to kick this thing off, Clay?
Yep, I know. Just as always, I love to kick these things off. Appreciate everybody listening. Thanks for joining. Thanks for following all of our groups. The Wash Bros podcast has been great. We're growing. We love all of our listeners. We love all the questions. We love everybody that's been calling and asking us questions. It's always good to network with all the people around the country and even the world. We got listeners from 20 different countries. Pretty cool that we've grown it this far. But like Matt said, we're going to talk about the power of consistent branding. So the power of consistency in branding is huge, right? So like I know that I've talked about it in earlier stages of me growing my business. I really didn't I understood it, but I didn't understand the power of it and what it really meant and how important it was. So just a little background on me. When I first started, I put something together. I think it was on Canva or something, and everything was crooked. It didn't really look right. It looked weird. It almost looked like my one of my kids had drew it up and we just made it digital and slapped it on everything, right? So I had a guy that was local to us, knew a little bit about business. He said, "Hey man, can I create you a logo?" And he did it for free. Believe it or not, the logo that is my brand is a free logo. And once I seen the visual of it, the newer logo, the newer brand, I realized how unprofessional my older logo was. So I've stuck with this logo. I've had people wanting to switch it again, but I feel like it's the originality of my brand, right? So it's just kind of what I've built my trust, my reputation, the quality of my work. That's what everybody sees when they think about my business. So if you don't have a professional logo, highly recommend it just because it makes you look professional. That is the visual of what everybody thinks of. That's what pops up in their head when they see your name. When they click anything on the internet, they see that logo. So you want to soak that logo into people's brains. You want to brand that logo. And even if you don't know about Fiverr, it's an app. You can hire many different people, many different creators, many different artists, and you can come up with your own logo. The only thing that I would stress is make sure that it's not just some generic logo that every other pressure washer is using. Make it your own thing. Make it stand out. Don't be what me and Matt talk about, post blind. Because if you start intertwining with all these other logos, anybody can put a house and a pressure washing wand and a logo and put their name on top of it, and it's a logo. But you want to originate and be your own person.
Exactly. And like Clay said too, you don't want to be too quick to change it around and confuse people. Like if you built a brand based upon the logo you currently have, you don't want to say, "Oh, I'm going to completely change it up next year." So therefore, that brand recognition is lost. And I mean, his logo's got a clean logo. It's nice. It's got 5 stars on it, so it's pretty cool. It kind of has a higher value, simple to the point thing, and like you paste it on everything. You put it on your truck wraps, your shirts, put it on TV ads, put it everywhere, and that just helps expand that awareness out to people. And like he says, we don't want to be generic pressure washing. Everybody has like the roof ridges, and it just says something services or pressure washing, and that's generic. We don't want to go for that. We want to figure out a brand that resonates with our authentic selves, so customers see us as different than everybody else. And it's pretty simple because I know like guys struggle with branding and marketing and they think, "Oh man, I just want this looks so professional." And I'm like, it's copy paste off of Canva or copy paste off of a generic ad. And if everybody's doing it and it's like that professional pressure washing thing, like you're just blending in with everybody else. So one thing that we like to do is separate ourselves, be different, and then you do so by kind of finding your authentic self and then relaying your personality through that. And that's how that's how you really like separate, divide, and get people's attention differently than every other XYZ pressure washing company that we see in our market.
Yeah, the biggest thing I think that I've learned is a confused customer never buys. So if the customer has you confused with another company, and it's very easily to do because there's so many people in this industry, You have to make yourself stand out. You have to provide the value. You have to provide the professionalism. You have to provide the processes, like how me and Matt do things. We send an estimate out. So, well, I know I do it, but if you send the estimate out and there's an approve and a decline button, I feel like that provides value. Most people are gonna want to come out and drag it out for 3 days. Well, I can have you an estimate in minutes, right? So if I have you an estimate in minutes, I'm making it easier for the customer. The customer doesn't have to wait on me for 3 days to come out and take a look at the job and then talk to them with an hour. Plus, you're losing money if you're having to do it that way. I know a lot of guys want to do it that way, but we don't have the time. We've done 80 something jobs so far this month. We'll probably end the month around 100 to 110 jobs. So if you're going out to every job, that's time, and time is money. And if you're going out to every single job, I do feel like that creates a little more value. I've had to go out on these bigger jobs and take a look at it on the ones that I can't go out and I can't look on the internet or whatever and quote them. But if you're going out to every job and you're quoting every job, you're definitely losing money.
Again, to Clay's point, like we do a lot of commercial stuff, and I usually meet on site with guys because I want to discuss the scope, set expectations, see how long it's going to take us, because we price based more on time of what it would take us and knowing the market than we do square footage. So if you guys are stuck in this paradigm of the YouTube gurus told me that I need to charge 15 to 20 cents a square, like we're not even in the same ballpark. And I know like people have called us out here and there because they're so fixated on these like abstract retarded ideals that they're not competitive because they're so fixated on like, oh, you need to charge this much per square. This is my sweet spot. Sure, that may be your sweet spot, but when somebody like my company or Clay's company comes in and we undercut you and we over deliver, we've already done that job by the time you're trying to follow up with the customer and say, "Oh, I want to know like can I pressure wash your house today?" And no, like we focus on the right things. We're not focusing on trying to beat people up and saying, oh, everything needs to be in person because I'm going to spend an hour of my day trying to swoon a $300 ticket into an $800 job. Like, price yourself accordingly, have your branding in check. Your branding starts to sell and market itself. And like Clay says, branding is an extension of word of mouth. Everybody's obsessed with word of mouth, but nobody knows what it means. And I see this all the time. I don't do marketing. I just have word of mouth. Like word of mouth is what you pull up on Google, what you pull up on social media, your branding and all that stuff. So if your branding's trash, they're not going to say, "Oh, call XYZ pressure washing." That's the word of mouth guy. No, they're going to say, "Hey, call Clay, call Matt." Those guys know what they're doing. Whether they've used us or they don't, the word of mouth spreads because of the consistency we have in our brand that's across all platforms. You see your neighbor across the street, we have our trucks at their house. You see us pressure washing the football stadium at your college. Like everything loops together, and then that's that power of consistency of the brand that we're talking about today on this episode. And I guess my point being, when we tied into like going out in person, be smart, know when to go out. When we're down at a college and we're doing $20,000 worth of work, of course we're going to go down there. But when you're going to a subdivision and you know the range of pricing for the house wash is $300 to $500, and you're going to lose that bid unless you're probably $300 to $450, like don't show up. Don't try to impress people with your generic branding and messaging. Like get out of that trance, because that's why you guys are slow, because you're not focusing on trying to get more business. You're focusing on these stupid nuances where you should be getting the job done, moving forward. Don't try to rate, like we're a commodity now. And I know it's hard to accept, but like you can't show up and charge 30 cents a square to soft wash. You might, but overall you're not going to be a successful business, and you'll probably be going back to your normal job just because the market isn't bearing that anymore. So if you're not able to efficiently go in, knock out jobs and get more work, you're not going to be competitive or successful anymore in this space. And that's a hard lesson, but too many people we see, especially new guys, are clueless. They're clueless about pricing. They have no value yet. Nothing against you guys, but if you're new to the business, you don't have any value yet because you just don't know. You can do everything you think you're doing right, but like if you don't have the experience, if you don't have the time in the grind, in the trade, you just can't compete with people like Clay and I, who've been around the block and has 4 or 5,000 jobs under our belts and have 500 Google reviews, and we've been doing over $1 million in business. It's so you're coming at us, or you're coming to try to compete with us at a really high price point, trying to do all these song and dance door to door, throw these flyers out, and like I don't know what it is, but I guess the market and YouTube and everybody thinks, oh, we're slow. Go door to door. Go feet on the ground. That is definitely not working nowadays. That is devaluing the heck out of pressure washing businesses because everybody's doing it. And everybody's doing it with a 4 gallon a minute machine. They're wheeling behind themselves as they're like a college kid. So, like, if you are a professional, legitimate business, focus on consistent branding, focus on professional marketing, don't focus on door to door and every generic crap that worked maybe 10 years ago. But every high school kid, every part timer is doing it. So you're just racing to the bottom at a price war on this. And I see this all the time. People are complaining and bitching, oh, just knock 5,000 doors. Cool. You're going to spend a whole summer knocking doors to maybe make 15 grand. Figure out how to improve your brand, improve your marketing, improve your online presence, and then go make $15,000 in a week. Like, there's levels to this game. And when people come in, strong egos, and they try to say, oh, Clay and I, like, what we're doing is not right. We should be doing this. I always ask, hey, guy, awesome. Glad to see that you're doing great. But, like, what kind of revenues are you doing? And then it's always crickets. It's always silence because there's levels to the game, and what works at one level doesn't necessarily work at the next. We are at a different level than a lot of people, and we're at a different level than where we were last year or the year before. So, like, what we talk about is deeper level stuff than 99% of people. Like, if you're trying to make $30,000 a month, that's great, but that's like one truckload in a month. Like, Clay and I are both banging out like pretty solid months here, consistently year over year. So the wisdom that we have about the branding and the marketing is the reason we're successful today, and it's not because of generic door knocking, door hangers, upsell mentalities. Like, that's just kind of like we're not in that space. So, like, this episode is exciting for me because, like, we're starting to see the fruits of our labors with the branding and all that consistency we've put in over time. But there's my rant.
Absolutely. Aha. Yeah, well, the biggest thing when you are going to the clip flyers, and then the door knocking and stuff like that, that stuff's great. Like, if you're brand new in business, whatever. But if you go back and you look at these guys, if you're following any of these gurus, and you go back and you look at their reputation as a business, you go to Google, you search their business, any of these guys that are preaching this kind of marketing, and you look at their reviews, you will see bad reviews about people saying, oh, these guys are littering. These guys will not leave me alone. These guys are putting these stupid things in my driveway that I'm having to pick up every month. People do not like that stuff. You want the customers to be your friend. You want them to like you. You want that person to tell 10 other neighbors about you. I mean, and we're in the home service business. It's going to be hard to make everybody happy. But just from the stuff that me and Matt have learned over the years, obviously we're consistently growing. We're consistently doing great numbers, even in I guess you would say, a bad economy. I wouldn't say our economy is great right now, but it's not as good as it was. We're consistently still putting up those numbers. We're still growing. Our percentages over a year are growing and growing and growing and growing. We're only going up. So what we know through our CRMs, our data, our reporting, everything that we put in our CRM every day, we know that our brands are consistently growing no matter what's thrown at us. And I've heard a lot of the smaller guys say, hey, I'm struggling to get work. I don't know what to do. And a lot of these guys that you look at, you know that all they're doing is word of mouth. They're posting in Facebook groups, and that's the only marketing that they're doing. But it's probably the only marketing that they know. They haven't been taught. They followed the wrong advice on the internet on somebody that thinks they know what they're doing. They're blasting and saying they're doing big numbers. But as I've said time and time again, you can do a big number once, but if you cannot do that big number consistently, then it doesn't really matter. It's irrelevant. So that's why we are stressing and preaching the importance of branding. You consistently brand. You put your name out there. When you're done with a customer, you tell them, "Hey, if you would tell your friends, tell your family, tell everybody about us. We'd love to do them too." And then next year, when it comes around, that customer may get your follow-up email. I know we've talked about that. We're sending follow-up emails now a year after their service. They may not be ready to get their house cleaned again, but they may be around somebody that does. So consistently throwing your name out there. I know Matt does newsletters. He's staying in the top of people's heads. So putting those important things in place, the right processes, Another big thing is a lot of people love me because our uniforms match our wraps on our trucks. I mean, we're just professional. All of our branding falls in together, and it gives the customer a sense of more confidence. They're not as uh, timid as they were from the beginning when you had that first phone call with them because they were screwed by their last pressure washing guy. The biggest thing is building trust with your customer, make the customer like you, and then from then all out, it's just like a friendship years down the road. It's I go back and see these other guys and they're like, okay, go ahead. We know you do a good job. Go right ahead and we'll get you paid when you're done. You know,
Exactly.
so once you build that customer base, build the brand, they just you're just like a friend to them pretty much. You're no longer a like an amigo coming and showing up and doing some work at their house.
Exactly. And there's nothing wrong with the door to door hustle college kid in the summertime. Like, but that's not a professional company. And you will get hired on doing work like that because you see these YouTube guys and they make more money from selling somebody a free driveway or going up and saying, let me wash your driveway for free. They make more money off of their monetization of their YouTube channel than they're making pressure washing. There's nothing wrong with that hustle. But if you want to be a legitimate business, that's not the right business model to follow. Just because people can go to somebody's house and say, knock, 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 let me wash your driveway for $99, you're not really creating any value there. You're doing something at a discounted rate, and they say, okay, sure, I can do that. So, like, if you're trying to door into these really high tickets, I don't know. I mean, like, if you don't have anything else to do, you don't have any money to spend on marketing, maybe that's the only option you have. But like, man, it's just hard to establish a brand that way in this internet world. We're getting jobs off of AI. People aren't at their homes. People don't want to answer the door. They see this guy spamming. Like, I can't tell you how many times, oh, I had like 3 pressure washers knock on my door, and then they called me because I'm the guy they use. I'm not here wasting my time like lowering the value of my brand by harassing people at their doors. Nobody wants this anymore. Clip flyers too. It's all generic. You don't want to spam people's driveways. Clay and I both, we have literally seen the clip flyer with a price written on it that is half the price of ours, and they chose us instead. Like, we don't want that. We're not spamming people. We are building a brand that's lasting the test of time. We're not hustling for 1 to 2 years, making a little bit of money, and then off to the next thing. And that's the difference. If you're doing these kind of guerrilla style of marketings, you're not establishing like a depth to your brand. You're not omnipresent. You're not on TV. You're not on, as Clay and I do now, like we have podcasts together. That's kind of a selling point I'll even use too with my pressure. People will ask me stupid questions because they're so used to these $99 type guys who are going clip flyering or what they're doing. They're door knocking and they're saying, oh, well, this kid, he was really hungry and ambitious, but like he's going to damage my house, or like he doesn't know, he doesn't, like, they view you completely differently than a well branded business that shows up. I have employees. I can literally have employees that I hire in the summertime, and I have college kids that help me out. Sure, you could say I'm the owner operator. I've been doing this for years, but my college kids get tips, get good reviews, and everything because they follow the processes of our branding. They show up in uniforms, and they show up in a wrap truck. They have professional equipment. The whole system follow a process from before the job. Here's some videos on our services. Here's some questions. Like, we deliver such a high value brand experience that I can have somebody that's pressure washed for 2 or 3 weeks and they over deliver far more than somebody who doesn't have all that branding in place. And that's where the ability to scale comes in, because you're able to have employees show up, follow the processes that you have laid out, and then they're literally doing pressure washing, which anybody can pressure wash. You give somebody a pressure washer and some SH, there you go out and make some money. So we need to focus more on, stop stressing about like how much individual jobs costing, stop stressing about this or that, and focus on like that brand, focus on putting people in place to get the work completed. And then your job as the owner, as the businessman, is to go out and position yourself and your team so they can get as much work as possible and then keep them flowing and keep them busy. And it's a pretty simple game. People just get so fixated backwards on the technical, on the owner operator mindset stuff. Again, nothing wrong with any of that stuff. But as we go into these tougher economic times and there's a lot of competition, Clay and I say it's like we're not necessarily taking business from each other. We're mainly eating up market share from a lot of these owner operator guys. Like my competition isn't Clay and vice versa. We're over here saying, how can I get business from these new guys or from these guys that have been doing it for 20 years that are losing jobs to us? And that's the mindset you have to have as you go forward with whatever's going on in the world or inflation or just the sheer amount of pressure washer people we have today. Like you cannot compete when everybody's doing the exact same formula. And if you've been doing it for years and you say this works, you probably noticed a drop in business this year. And that's coming not just from my experience, but talking to other guys who've been in the field, guys who've been at this for 20 years plus. Like if you're not evolving and changing with the times, you're going to be left behind.
You're 100% correct. And it's simply not personal. Like, we're not targeting certain businesses. Like, it's specifically a business transaction. Like, Matt pushes me to do other things. We bid against each other and we ask each other, we kind of scale off each other and try to say, okay, where were you at on this one? What's going on with this customer? We just happened the other day, yesterday, when we were looking at sharing some information. And that's how we build each other up. That's how we get better. That's how we learn from each other. That's how we figure out, okay, maybe we priced it a little differently here, or we say, okay, well, this customer must have just been cheap, right? So we specifically like work on each other and work on our businesses, and we go through different things and make sure they work. So that's the most important thing, what we have preached about, finding somebody that you can work well with, even if it is competitive. Like, Matt's my only competition. He's the only person I see as competition. But look at us, we're doing a podcast together. We talk to each other every day. We collaborate at the top, and if I lose a job to Matt, then whatever. Like, I sleep well at night either way. It's just a business. It's just part of business.
Exactly right. And his key word there, if I lose a job, who cares? People are too fixated on losing a job that they miss out on building a business with somebody. And like Clay and I, we're both building each other's businesses, like with like we're helping each other build each other's businesses. And whatever direction him or I want to take, like we have each other as like almost like non bullshitting like consultants. Like we're not going to just say, "Oh, that's a great idea. That's a great idea." Like, yes, man. It's going to be like, as a competitor, like we'll use this sometimes, we'll be like, hey, as a competitor, I want you to do that. But as a friend, I say you probably shouldn't do that. And that's like honest feedback that you need to keep you in check. It's like, hey, me competing with you trying to get more market share, I say go for it because I think that's going to be a flaw. And then we keep each other in check. And it's like, cool, we may lose jobs on the low end, like small day to day stuff. We may lose together. But if I'm losing $300, but we're able to like scale trucks and grow businesses and keep each other in check, it's like, cool. Like we have 3 trucks on the road, $100,000 a month. I don't care about losing a $300 job here and there. So it's bigger picture. And that's kind of the overall thing with building a business as opposed to being that owner operator technician where like everything is in your hands and like, oh, you eat, you literally like live and die by the job right in front of you. And that's the trap that you can get stuck in. And it's a difficult space because Clay and I have both been there. And the objective of like the Wash Bros is whether you use us or you use somebody local, you build that network with people that can help like raise the tide. So like rising tides raise all ships. So if you're surrounded by guys who are constantly pushing, constantly growing, you're going to have to grow. Otherwise, you probably will outgrow that friendship. And I know I do personally, and I'm sure Clay, as he's grown his business, he's probably grown himself out of like previous friendships that he had before he started this. And you always kind of want to seek people that are on the same level or if not higher than you. That way you're not just stuck in life. Because we could easily go
Well,
through
the biggest
the
thing,
Facebook groups and people are bitching about the world and like be positive.
right?
So
The biggest thing is mentality, and I've always kind of ran off of this. Always take advice from somebody that's doing something that you want to do, or they're currently and presently where you want to be. Not that you're trying to be like anybody else, but if they have accomplished the things that you're trying to accomplish, you want to be with that guy. You want to buddy up with that guy. You want to talk to that guy. You want to say, okay, put your ego aside, learn from that person, try to figure out what you need to do to get where he's at.
yes, because there's things that Clay does better than me and things that I can do better than Clay from experience. And we all have different experiences and different ways of doing things. So it's a win-win relationship on both ends. And that is just
Right,
super
and
important
then
to do.
going back to the clip flyer thing, I've literally shown up to jobs and picked the clip flyers up. I think you kind of said that, but I've literally picked them up and looked at them, and they've been there for months. And the customer called me instead of calling the clip fire that they walk by every day to go to their mailbox, right? And like you said, the price was all. It seems like the price is always lower. And what we have done differently here is we didn't litter in the customer's driveway. We made it easy for the customer to find us with our branding. We have been everywhere: social media, Google. Well, in my case, I've been on TV. You could see me just about anywhere you go, especially digitally with everybody having a phone in their hand. And another thing is, okay, you're new, you're throwing clip flyers out. If they look up your company on TV, not on TV, on the internet, on Google, and you don't have any reviews, then you're basically wasting your money on those clip flyers. You need to put your own spin on it. You can't just throw a clip fire in somebody's driveway and just hope they call you. You got to build some sort of value there. You got to create a presence online. When they go online and they look up your company, if you've thrown the clip fire and you don't, there's just no trust. You've built no trust. You've built no value. So if you're new in this business and you're doing that style of marketing, I would highly recommend finding everybody you can find. Go and watch houses for free for Google reviews. Push those Google reviews as hard as you can, because people are really realistically, like I know with me, especially in our saturated market, I'm not even going to consider anybody until they have 50 to 100 Google reviews at least.
Easy,
I mean that
easy.
easy, and that's just because I mean our market specifically is saturated, and then to butt up against or even compete against somebody like me or Matt with 300 to 500 Google reviews, you're going to probably have to be half our price, just
Correct.
because we have the value, we have the reputation, we've done a lot of jobs, we have the brand. It's just building that customer trust, and I think that's the key thing is building the trust with the customers.
Exactly. And the problem that we see is we have guys with lower brands who don't care about that, who are showing up to pressure wash the same things we do, the same product, the end product that the customer gets with us, and they think that they can charge double what we're charging. Sure,
And
you
they're
can,
blaming us for bringing the market
and they're
down.
blaming us for bringing the market down. Again, whatever you guys want to do, but like when supply and demand, I don't know, economics 101, I don't know if any of you guys went to college. You don't raise your prices when there's so much supply in the market and then complain. Again, if you're an owner operator running one truck going high ticket model, or you have more leads you know what to do with, then raise your prices. Don't think that, oh, I need to raise my prices because of inflation. Well, how many jobs do you have on the books? How much revenue are you doing? Because stop fixating on like, oh, it's profitability is everything. You need to have volume and you need to have revenue. Otherwise, it's like, oh, I'm 100% profitable. What did you do? I did $1,000. Congratulations, you just went out of business. Or do you want to say, oh, Amazon, they suck because they have low profitability. Walmart, they suck because they have low profitability. Like, I don't want that model. The richest companies in the world are high volume, low margin. If you think that, oh, like all that matters is like your profitability, you probably need to grow more, and you don't need to be trying to make $500 an hour on one or two jobs. You need to say, how can I fill out my week so I have an overabundance of work coming in, so I have, like, we do really solid profitability and we're priced very fairly. It's not that difficult. You got to be in the middle. You can't be one extreme or the other.
I mean, Matt, but we shoot for the $300 an hour if we can. So if I can do a 10-hour day and bust out 3 grand, there it is, right? So the biggest thing that I've just noticed, the guys just they're really uneducated. They really don't have the right mentality. They haven't understood. They haven't been through enough business to understand. And I was fortunate enough to go through business and see how it really ran before I went and I did this and started my own thing. But it's more of a mentality thing. And if you guys follow us and you listen to us, you will definitely learn a whole lot more than what you're learning on the guru stuff on the YouTube and the technicalities of how the business operates. The business is the most important thing. It's not your equipment. You know, I can go out with a 4 gallon minute machine tomorrow and make probably more than 90% of the guys in my area. It's just knowing how to get to work, how to do it efficiently, how to make the customer happy, how to get the Google reviews, how to get paid, how to not have any problems, how to, just at the end of the day, it's just making the customer happy.
Exactly. Like, you, I can bring in a college kid and they can get more tips than I do and Google reviews and happy customer experiences. And they don't have years of pressure washing experience. They don't have all the tools in their, and like they have we have a downstream injector and a pressure washer. These guys can bang out a ton of work, get great reviews, get great customer experience, and that is the business. The business isn't, oh, I've been doing this for 25 years. What do they know? Customer doesn't care. Customer likes to see some friendly, like ambitious college kid with a nice branded company and a positive attitude. That is business 101. Don't get lost and confused in the technical. Don't get so stuck in your head that you completely misunderstand what a business is about. Think of a business, think of customers as like dating. And you you don't just go up to somebody and randomly leave a note on their car and say, "Will you go out with me? Here's my number." Some of you guys do based on how you run your businesses, but that's not going to work more times than not. Build value, build treat it like, hey, I want to have friends. How do you have friends? You almost have to make yourself popular. How do you become popular? You become likable. You like other people. You build value in what you like with your interest, so people want to be attracted to you. And that's what we have to do in our business. It doesn't happen from flying from spamming people. Going to that girl's house down the street, knocking on her door and stalking her and saying, "Hey, I want to clean your house. Hey, I want to go on a date." They're going to call the cops on you. What makes it any different than if you're doing that to try to take money out of their pocket when they're saying, "My house doesn't need to be clean. What is this guy doing? I'm just trying to enjoy my day, and I got this guy banging on my door trying to take $300 from me." Instantly, they're going to get a bad reputation. They're not going to like that. Or the same thing with throwing flyers and spam and trash in their driveway. Sure, in theory, it sounds like a great idea, but you guys aren't doing anything differently than the 20 other guys that do that every day. Figure out how to attract customers to you, and you do that via your branding. And understand, people are on social media, people are on Google. Nowadays, people are asking ChatGPT and AI. If you're not on these platforms, you're irrelevant in today's world. That's not harsh, that's just facts. So if you're wanting to grow a real business, build that brand up, get that online presence. And like Clay says, if you're new and you have a lot of time on your hands, go knock and pressure wash for free. Some of these YouTube guys are geniuses because they built their businesses, which is monetizing YouTube, off of knocking on somebody's door and providing value. Knocking on somebody's door and trying to sell them something is not value. Figure it out.
Correct. I believe we've about banged this one out, Matt. Been a lot of good resources, a lot of good knowledge here for all of our listeners, for sure.
And branding is a great thing. And follow us at the Wash Bros, where we got tons of stuff. How to improve your
Yeah.
brand. AI is cool. We're playing
If
with some
you
Bigfoot videos too. So my Bigfoot's going to be beat. I should make a video of Bigfoot beating your clip flyer. That should be a great one.
yeah, that would be awesome. That'd be a good post
we,
for the
we should do
Wash
some
Bros
Wash
page,
Bros
actually.
AI Bigfoot memes.
Yeah,
That'd be funny.
that would be badass. Yeah, we could share it in the pressure washing groups.
Yes.
But the biggest thing, if you gain value today with our podcast, please share with another friend. I know everybody's got a friend they're talking about pressure washing. Please share our information to them. We're always looking to help, try to grow this podcast, trying to get into bigger things with this. And just remember, it's just about being consistent, consistently branding, consistently gaining knowledge, consistently asking the right questions to the people. Like I said earlier, you want to ask advice from the people that are where you want to be, right? So thanks for listening. Follow us on the Wash Bros podcast page on Facebook, YouTube, the Wash Bros group. We have a private group where we share numbers, share videos, different things, just like a regular pressure washing group. Follow my page, Clay Smith, personal page. It's my personal page on Facebook. My business page is C3 Wash Pros LLC. Follow Matthew Jackson. That's Matt's page, his personal page on Facebook, and Matt the Driveway Guy.
So, I mean, another great episode. Like, there's so much content in the Wash Bros. So if you guys just connected with us, make sure to go to like and subscribe on all the platforms, the platforms where you can watch your iTunes. Like Clay and I both, when we did episodes 1, we were both in a completely different situation than we are today. So we literally just lay out the framework, and you can see the results as we've gone through 2 seasons with 20 episodes. So that's everything on my end. You guys can make sure to check us out, leave us some comments, and we'll see you on the next one.
Peace.